Hey everyone, welcome back to In Her Shoes. Today we are talking with an intuitive healer, life coach, and seer to women entrepreneurs. She is here. I see her. I am so excited to talk to her today. So let me bring her on. Let me just see here. Let me request Tracy. To wait for her. Tracy, how are you? I'm so excited to talk to you. You have no idea.
I'm trying to figure out, how do I hear your voice?
Can you hear me or no?
A little bit. Let's see.
Little bit? Maybe put the volume. Okay, good. We had so many technical difficulties, like in past interviews. So I'm like, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I'm like, okay, let's just do all the magic right now.
So this is Tracy Neely. I am so excited to bring my community to you and you to her and vice versa. And you're an intuitive healer. You're a certified life coach and seer to women entrepreneurs. And, you know, just when we first met in a group, and just your energy, like your energy and your vibe. And it's just it's literally healing to me. Anyway, to me, it's like your energy. I can feel it through like the interwebs.
Thank
you. I wanted to share your brilliance and your journey in hopes that it will heal someone else, or help someone else. So I would love for you to just, share a little bit about yourself, and then we can take the conversation wherever, you want it to go. So.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much. It's beautiful to be with you and your community. Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Neely. As Kelly says, I'm an intuitive healer, but really all this means is I go on a journey with you so that you come back to your remembrance and your own light, so that you show up powerfully for yourself. If you're in business, you show up powerfully for your clients. And it's something that I've just been born to do, really. Like, I remember when I was little, I used to tell my mom, I just want people to feel better. I had no idea even what I was saying. But before we do all that, I got a little nudge as I was preparing, as I was listening to Jill Scott, Living Your Life Like It's Golden, and Kelly Price, It's My Time. Something told me to pull a card.
Oh.
So if that's okay with you,
yes,
I pulled a card that is for me, it's for you, and it's a message for everyone who's connecting with us. So this is from the Mystical Shaman deck, and it's called Flow. So I would love to read it, and although I'm reading it to you, just bring your awareness to your heart so that you bypass the story of the mind, but that you feel the energy of the message in your heart. So the essence of the flow says there's a natural movement of events in the world. You can see it in the phenomenon such as the tide, the ebb, the flow of the oceans, and rivers that rise up from the earth and flow to the sea. The symbol of the flow card represents the effortless and natural movement towards a certain destination. It signifies an ability to gracefully move around obstacles and reminds you of the sense of allowing. And the invitation of the flow card says, when flow comes to visit, it's a sign that your intentions have been in motion. Now is the time to allow nature to run its course. You are being called to effortless movements and the path of least resistance. It's like being within music, flowing within partnership. Think of the artist who creates without a guile or a craft, calling in creativity up from the soul, bringing it to life without effort. You are called to be like a river, knowing the fulfillment of destiny is assured. Enjoy the ride. And the medicine of this card says, don't try to push against the river or swim upstream right now. You can trust that when the time is right, your dreams will begin to take shape and you will be invited to dance with destiny. Right now, however, you must relax. Relax into the energy, into the presence of who you are. This is not the time to bang on doors that refuse to open. Whatever obstacle is in front of you right now, trust this is for the highest good. It is an opportunity to regroup, reconsider your choices, and you must trust that your intentions will take form in good time. Consider this time a gift. So when I read that message, what intuitively comes up is it's a time for us to allow the thing that we've been seeding, the thing we've been healing, the thing that we've been nurturing. It's time to allow it to harvest. Know that we are worth the abundance. Know that we are worth everything that we have put into our work, into our lives. It is about allowing, because we are worthy to receive. Thank you.
Ah, Tracy, that was so good. How many of you? Oh my gosh, finding Deirdre, Boho. I mean, that was healing for me. That was so powerful. Thank you for sharing that and picking that card. And of course you were guided to that. Like, of course you were. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about that, right? Because today, right, a lot of people can feel like maybe they're pushing or they're coming from the scarcity mindset. And so when we talk about like intuitiveness and like listening to our guidance, how have you honed that craft, right? Because I know environment is a really big part of it. But how would you advise people, like if maybe they're not in a great soul environment, or maybe they feel like they're knocking on doors that aren't opening? Yeah. Is there any tips or like strategies or things that have helped you or your clients?
Yeah. So first I want to say I've been in every single one of those places where I was so disconnected from my inner knowing, but it was because I wasn't trusting. I was looking outside of myself. So environments can look very different now, right? And with everything going on, our environment is what we make it to be. So if your environment is this big, then you make it as beautiful as you will. If it means bringing a crystal into your life, if it means lighting a candle, what these things are doing is it's just connecting with your essence, with your soul, right? Because your soul is your presence, it's your energy. So connecting with our inner knowing, it's almost like your inner knowing has always been there, but there's so many things that we're dealing with where we're not trusting, or we don't feel like we hear, or we don't believe, right? Our inner knowing. So the first thing I always say is, do you want to feel your inner knowing, right? Because we're busy thinking about it. Like, I want to know these things. I want to trust it. Listen, the mind tells us so many stories. The mind is a beautiful thing, but the body knows the truth, right? So connecting with your inner knowing is just asking a question, but then trusting the answer. The answer comes like this, but what happens, we get the answer and the mind is like, because it wants to be busy. It's like, no, that's not the answer I'm looking for. So it goes fishing. What you do is with your breath, it's a way you come back into your body. You bring yourself back to yourself. You bring all of your energy back in and you ask the question and then you say, thank you. What else? Because what you're doing is you're allowing your subconscious, your inner knowing to know it is safe to share, and it is safe to share something that may be completely different, completely outside of your reality. And the more that you say yes to connecting with your inner knowing, the stronger it gets. And then when you get that nudge, you move on it, right? Because then you're telling yourself, it's safe for me to trust my inner knowing. I believe, and now I'm taking inspired action because I feel it from my heart versus thinking it from my mind. Yeah.
Love that. And I love that. And I know for me, it took me, and still does, because high performer, overachiever, type A, it can take a lot to just slow down, right? Like to slow down. And for a lot of people, right, you're so right. The mind like is constantly like looking for that. Yeah, constantly. Yes. So I'm curious, Tracy, how did you get into this work?
So I wasn't really even sure in the beginning. So I'm going to take you back to when I was 7. I always had this inner knowing, but I didn't even know what you called it. But I remember like aunts, grandmothers saying, "You are so wise. You have so much wisdom." Well, who cares about that at 7 years old? You know what I mean? Like, I want to go on the playground. So I always had this inner knowing, but by 13, I could feel there was something different. I remember we lived in the inner city in Hartford, Connecticut, and I was into herbs and crystals. And my mother is like, "Who are you? Like, this isn't part of your reality at all." Like, I remember saying things like, "Mom, if you want things to change, then you've got to change how you're thinking." Like, you know what I mean? Because she was always into personal development. So I think like I was a sponge, right? Because a lot of times as children, we're a sponge and we're taking in information, whatever we see, whatever we feel. So that was in the back of my mind. But really what happened was I was diagnosed with a rare tumor in my 20s. In my 20s, I said, "I'm leaving Chattanooga, Tennessee. It is just too small for me. It's a beautiful place, but I'm moving to New York." I moved to New York. I'm single, ready to mingle. Everything's great. And I remember going home to visit my mother, and I thought, I'm going to have my teeth cleaned because it's probably cheaper in Tennessee than it is in New York City. And long story short, they did a routine x-ray and a tumor showed up. And that tumor led to me having many, many surgeries. And that left me needing to physically heal, but more than that, emotionally. Like, I did not leave my apartment in New York for a year after that because my face was the size of a basketball. And I just was like, "Oh my gosh, am I going to ever date? Am I ever going to get married? Am I going to have children?" All the things. But once I started physically healing, I knew that I hadn't emotionally healed. And so that just led me on this journey. And I just became hungry for knowledge of mind, of spirit, of body. And I felt connected to something that I could not describe. Like, it was almost like an out-of-body experience where I heard a voice that said, "There's something else for you to do." And at the time, I was working for E-Trade doing marketing, making the most money I had ever made in my entire life. And I just thought, "Oh gosh, this is it. I'm set." Like, and I remember being at a conference and feeling like it was sucking the life out of my soul. And I just decided to pivot. And I went back to school to study nutrition at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And I've gone to so many schools. But I remember feeling like, this is it. I want to help people to heal. I wasn't thinking about the money at the time, but I'm like, this is my calling. So that's what I did. I worked with women around healing physically, but I felt like they were coming back to the same mindset, to the same beliefs, to the same story, to the same foods, to the same habits. And I thought, we got to go deeper because everything about me is deep. I'm not super surface, so I don't do well at like a lot of networking things where you got to talk a lot of surfacey stuff. Yeah. I'm super deep. But I always thought that that was a problem. I'm too deep for people, you know, all the things instead of looking at it as a gift. Yeah. So I just decided I want to focus on mindset, right? So I did that work. Love, 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 love it. And I know that you do it and you do it so beautifully with your clients. But I remember having a really powerful dream where I was driving a smart car in Italy, which is like my favorite country. And I was on this road and there was a cliff and there was water. And my smart car went over into the water. And in my dream, I immediately said, "I can't breathe." And I remember someone saying, "Relax." And then I said, "I can't breathe." And this voice said, "Stop hiding your gifts." And at that moment, I decided to come out of the closet to really own that I'm a healer, that I'm a seer, that I work with energy, that I am a spirit living in this human body, which we all are. And I just decided to do this work. And it was the scariest thing of my life because it was almost like someone upstairs, the divine was saying, "Okay, you say you have faith? Well, we're going to see how much faith you really have." because those first few years in business, my income dropped by 135,000.
Wow.
And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. And in the beginning, I have to tell you, the person that believed in my work was me. Nobody else. They didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? So it took a whole lot of healing, because, you know, the minute that you start to think something in your mind says, oh, that's what you want to think about? That's what you're going to put your focus on? Well, let me show you 10 other things related to that. So I had to do a whole lot of healing work. But there was something about just being in my own energy. And I would do that immediately, you know, constantly with my breath. I'm like, I know this is what I'm called to do. Like, it was almost as if I didn't do this work, I didn't know if I could make it on this earth. And I know that is like, what? But I really felt like I have no plan B. There's no C, there's no D. This is it. And this has got to work. So I just put the time in. And the more that I just owned it and enjoyed it and had fun with it, it was like it permeated every part of my being. And it's not even about doing it anymore. It's really about being it.
Yes. Tracy, you're speaking to my soul. Everyone, say amen in the comments if this is hitting you in any kind of way. Like, I love what you said about, you know, just the beingness and the mind also, because you were talking about perception there, right? The mind will find whatever you focus on. It's like,
absolutely.
Okay, if you want to find a white car, you know, you're going to see white cars all day long. And I love that you said too, you felt like this was it. Like you actually decided, you know?
Yes.
And you're like, no, this is my purpose.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some amens in there. And so for, I guess, the people that maybe, I hate the word struggle, but like maybe they're in a transition period. Mm-hmm. And you gave so many good tips, like flow, you know, slowing down, the breath, the beingness, mm-hmm. anything that was like critical that maybe when you were, you know, down on your knees or, you know, was it like asking for guidance? What was it? Anyone like going through transition right in this moment in any area, life, business, whatever. Yeah. And your story is so powerful too of
thank you.
The whole like moving to New York, then you had a tumor, like huge. So if everyone's missing this, watch the replay because she just literally dropped some gems and wisdom and healing and medicine that you will want to hear literally from the beginning of this interview. So any advice that you would?
Yes. So the first thing I want to share with you is many times on social media, we see pictures or we read a story and then we start to think about our own life and maybe be a little bit down on, you know, gosh, you know, what is it about me that I can't do this? There were more times when I was on my knees crying. And I am going to use the word struggle because it was like, if you imagine a pit and you're so deep in it that you're trying to crawl on your knees in your hands. And every time you keep crawling up, you keep sliding back down. Yeah. That's what it literally felt like. But at some point I said, although this is my reality, I'm far beyond this reality. And I'm not going to allow what is happening right now to dictate the rest of my life. So I started doing things like just setting the intention, just simple things like, this is my intention, right? Because sometimes we're like, we need the whole story of intention and the science. It's like, speak the words. Your words are powerful. Your voice is a vibration and a frequency that creates a reality. So many times I would say to my mind, thank you very much, but I'm going to connect with my heart. So I would do things like this. I would put my hand on my heart, because what that does is it activates your energy and your vibration to be in your heart versus being up in the mind. Because I spent a whole lot of time up here, right? Because I'm going to think my way out of this. Yeah. I'm going to think, and the mind is a beautiful thing, but it was almost like I was saying, my mind is where I'm going to make money, not my heart. I even remember saying that. right? So
Yeah.
what I had to do is I had to retrain my subconscious mind, because it will guide whatever you tell it. It's not saying, does she believe this? But I had to keep speaking the words out of my mouth. I'd write the words. I would share it with other people, because I knew every little step I celebrated. Any little thing. If it was like, oh, if I wrote a newsletter and someone replied, okay, you know what? I'm going to celebrate that. Like, it was like, don't wait for the big things, because when you celebrate the small things, you give your subconscious mind that space to say, it is safe for me to do something different than what I've been doing. Because when we're comfortable, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, are we really living? So that's what I would say. Start with first making a decision. What is it that you want? Actually, let me back up. Who are you? Because I couldn't answer that sometimes, because I was in my head. I had to really learn that my body is a temple and holds beautiful divine messages. But I've got to be in my own presence versus being in someone's perception of me, because their perception is really none of my business. And I cared way too much. So once I started doing these exercises, just being in my body with my breath, spending a lot of time out in nature, because nature is that's the place where I release, I replenish, I rejuvenate. And so find what you love, whatever that is. Listening to music, reading a book. Maybe it's listening to an audio that you love. Something that takes you from your head to your heart, because our soul speaks to us. It's almost like the soul says, I'm going to go up through your heart, and then I'm going to come up to your intuition. So the more that you just say, this is my path and this is what I'm going to do, regardless of what my reality looks like. Because my reality at a lot of times was like, are you nuts? Are you really going to do this? Are you going to take this chance? I mean, I remember telling my husband, I'm going to hire a coach. And he's like, you mean like a PE coach? Like, what's a coach? I said, I'm going to hire a coach, because many times we're too close to our own things, and we can't see what's really going on. So I knew that I wanted to hire somebody to go on this journey with me, not to do it for me, but to be alongside of me, because the mind's crafty. You can talk yourself out of things, and it makes sense. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But going on this journey, so I hired coaches and healers, and I just took it one step at a time, and I just never gave up. I'm like, I don't care if this takes the rest of my life. Yeah. I have a calling that has been on my life long before I was in this human body. And I am here to support others that are ready to just show up and share their gifts and make no apology. Because the more that we can be in our own energy, right, the more that we will do the work that we're all called to do. Like you were called to do work, right? So you were holding space for your clients. I have the capacity, you have the capacity, we have the capacity to hold space for people when we have this capacity to hold space for ourselves. Yes. It's beautiful. And the work is, I like what you said, because the coaches and the mentors, you know, my belief is you need the mentors, you need the coaches, you need the people that that will see your blind spots, right? Because you can be intuitive, you can feel, and your gut, you know, I always think my gut is always right. And there's, as you're evolving and growing, you need those people that will be honest with you, will call you out on your BS, you know, will hold you and guide you, will love on you. Like you said, hold space, love on you, be a cheerleader for you. So it's all dynamics, you know, it's like the tough love, but then it's a gentle love. And so I totally believe in that. Mentors, guides, coaches, we all need them, you know, we all need that. And, you know, one of the things that helped me the most was after my surgery, I could not talk because I lost all the nerves on the right side of my face. It was very hard. So I had to learn how to talk again. I had to learn how to eat. And what's so interesting about that, first, there are two things. Number one, I'm an introvert and I am shy. So
Really? I would never have guessed it.
Yes, very much.
Wow.
Very much. So the fact that I still show up in places where I have to use my voice, considering for a long time that I could not talk, considering that I am shy and I'm an introvert, I know that my purpose is bigger than my fear, right? I got nervous tonight, but I do my little thing with my music, light my candles, have my crystals, drink some water, move my body, because when you're moving energy. What are emotions? Emotions are energy in motion. So I'm moving those emotions, and then I tell my mind, thank you so much. I know that you want to keep me safe, but I am here with Kelly because my purpose is bigger than my fear. And right now, that shyness and all that, it's there, but I just don't let it stop me. And so that's just a message for all of us, that there will be things that want to stop us. And you have to ask yourself, is my purpose, is my passion, is my mission bigger than this thing that wants to hold me back or keep me safe? And then you just do it.
Yes. Yeah, like feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes.
Because, and then once you do it, it's like, oh yeah, like that was good. That was easy, you know, like it was good. Like now I can do it again, you know?
And I do it again, but I still get nervous.
Yeah.
But I just say, oh, you know, I'm like, okay, it's a thing, whatever, you know. But yeah, I am shy, and people are like, you're not. I'm like, I really am. Like, really am. Yeah.
I love all these comments, you know, purpose is bigger than my fear. Having, you know, attention to your voice. Yeah, your story, you know, resonates so deeply for me. I love that. So with your clients, what kind of work, because you are a seer, like, is it all different? Is like work like this? Do you integrate strategy as well? Like the soul work, the strategy, like, tell me a little bit more of like how you integrate all of that.
So there are there's three pillars, right? First is energy, because everything is energy. You and I, everything around us. And so it's really supporting, guiding, and teaching my clients how to feel that energy, because it's subtle, right? And we're used to things being this powerful thing we feel. And if we're moving at 100 miles an hour, we're missing it. So the first is energy. The second is around mindset, because there are many things that we are conscious of, but as you know, our conscious mind is a very small percentage of what is leading us and guiding us every day. It's the subconscious. Yeah. So as a seer, things come to me like that. I don't get in people's business when I meet them, meaning I'm not trying to know somebody's business, but once somebody makes a decision, we're working together, I am going to see exactly what is blocking them, what is getting in their way, or what's going to support them in getting to that next level. That's the second one. The third thing is intuitive strategy. I feel like there is a part of myself that sees creation, meaning I see big picture, right? I can see the puzzle pieces of whatever somebody's working on, and I share them. Now, along the way, as we are creating, as we are working with our clients, the mind wants to take over, or our emotions want to take over. So energy healing is like the foundation. It's like the root of where we start. And so me and my clients go on a journey. We go on a journey. The whole message is being there so that you show up powerfully for yourself, meaning that you trust yourself, that you begin to believe in yourself more, that you see your own light, that you make no apologies, that you share your gifts, your talents, and your abilities, and you have this quiet confidence about you. It's not for others, but you know that you know that you know, and you have a gift of wanting to be of service, and transformation is your thing. And so if women are showing up wanting that, then we get on a journey together. Typically, it looks like what you and I are doing, but there's a strategy. Because I'm going to ask in the beginning, who are you? Many times we can't answer that until we've begun to heal the things that have been under the surface that we've been carrying. And many times since we've between the ages of 7 and 13. So I will get a nudge and I'll say, this is what happened when you were 10 years old. And we need to clear and heal that, because that is blocking you from connecting with who you are, or feeling like you are worthy to be seen, or feeling like you have something to offer, because we all have gifts. Many times they're just under the surface. So as we dig through, as we climb through all the stuff, then you get to be in your own presence. You are the soul of your work. So when you start to heal, you show up differently. It's almost like there's a light that's always been there, but it's brighter now. So the people that you've been wanting to connect with, they see you. The people that you've been wanting to work with, they align with what you do in your business. So it's just pure magic. That's why the name of my company is Mindset Alchemy, because it is all alchemy.
Yes. Oh, I love, and what I'm hearing and experiencing is we all have the lights, and it's like clearing the cobwebs from the light. Cause when you heal, cause my belief is we all have medicine on our heart and in our being. Yes. And then when you're amplifying that, and you're getting to the core of what's holding people back, and then they can because when we're fully doing and being of service, then that allows and gives other people permission, right? Yes. So it's and heals them. That's absolutely what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, because listen, Kelly, you are the healing balm for your clients. You are the medicine. Your vibration, your energy, your frequency, along with your expertise, your light, that's the medicine to take your clients on a journey, right? Because the space that I work in is the liminal space. It's the in-between, because I was here. I know I want to be here, but this is where I need to do the work. This is where the transformation happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gap.
Yeah. And that gap for me was big. It was big. But I was willing to just say, Tracy, okay, you need to start having some fun. You need to start having some fun, because the more that you sometimes step away from the, I got to make this happen, you allow your sacral chakra, right? Your second chakra, you allow that creative energy to flow. You allow that sensuality to flow. You allow that sexual being that you are to flow. You allow that abundance to flow. But many times we aren't receiving because we first have to work on the energy of being worthy to receive.
Yes. Tracy, preach. I used to say preach, because that's exactly what I've been healing the past 2 years. The power of play. I had the program last year, the power of play, and that came from my own healing.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't playing.
I wasn't playing. Yeah.
I wasn't playing. And you're saying exactly, because there's so many women and men. Women, I feel there's men too, but just the high achieving, overperforming, type A, especially entrepreneurs, right? There's so much pressure, so much judgment, so much this, that, and doing all the things.
Right. Because many times we're like, I don't have time to play. I need to make money. Well, your money is in your play. The more that you can step away from that thing, you just give yourself space and room to breathe, because then it clears you. And then you feel like, okay, I can come back to this now. And then you have a different vision. Something sparks something inside of you. So for me, playing is being out in nature, because I don't have to try to be happy. I don't have to try to have fun. It is just the minute I step on in the park, the smile, do you know what I mean? And so it took me a while to learn that, though, because in the beginning, I'm like, I need to make money.
Yeah.
But when you feel like you are at a crossroads, and maybe you're doing extremely well, but you're like, there's another level I want to get to. Think about, how am I nurturing my inner child? How am I nurturing my higher self? What can I do that just brings some joy to my heart? For me, it's playing my crystal bowls. It's drumming. It's being in nature. I love horror and sci-fi movies. Love them, right? I love books. All of those things take me out of my head of worrying about, do I have enough clients? Am I making enough money? All the things. Then I can be in my heart and in my soul. And then when I go back to what I'm doing, there's like something new that I'm discovering,
And it brings back to the card you pulled at the beginning of this interview, the flow.
Yes, the flow. The flow. And I know sometimes, there are a couple things that people say, like, yes, I work in the personal development, healing, coaching world. But when you hear people say, oh, just let things flow, or, let's just be in the love and the light, and you're trying to pay your bills, you're like, what? I don't have time to be in the love and the light, But really, what it means is giving yourself the space and time to just be still long enough so that you can feel what's in your heart, and you can ask yourself questions from a place of curiosity versus judgment. Because when we start to judge, it closes off our intuition. But when we say, I'm going to be curious, then your intuition is ready to share it with you. So just saying something as simple as, what, I'm going to be curious right now about XYZ, and you ask yourself a question. And that can be one of the most powerful things you do. But sometimes we can't be still enough because we're busy doing all the time. And it's like, have you ever even stopped to even hear your own breath?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And so I'll bring up, you're making such a powerful point, because when I started doing Kundalini Yoga years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember the first class I ever went to, being in New York, doing the whole commute thing. And I was a hot mess, and I wasn't slowing down. And I remember the first Kundalini class I went to, I finally slowed down, but I lost my ish in the class. I started crying because I didn't know how to be with myself. And when I actually took a freaking breath, and I just had this massive release.
Yes, it was like, sometimes we don't even realize when we're doing all the things, we're actually holding our breath.
Yeah.
And sometimes, one of the things I love are breath work, because I feel like your breath brings you back to your center. Your breath unlocks something that you've been holding that you didn't even know you were holding. And like you said, it's like a tissue can drop, and then all of a sudden you're crying. But it was like you released something in you. And so sometimes it is about taking that minute for yourself to breathe, to bring yourself, call your energy back in, and just breathe. Put your hand on your heart. Because when you do that, you can just feel your nervous system will start to calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many emotions we hold in our nervous system. And when you start to breathe, you relax your body, you can feel more in your body, then you start to feel more present to what's inside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so, oh my gosh. So this has been so healing, Tracy. This is why I want to bring this woman on. So any last final thoughts, and then, where do people find, obviously your Instagram bio, but you can direct them kind of where you want them to go, but any final last thought. This has been so amazing. I always tell people go rewatch this a couple of times, because you're going to hear something differently the next time you watch it and listen to it. So,
well, the first thing I want to just say hello. I know people have been, and I have not been reading any of this, but I want to say hello. I see that I have a few clients on here, and thank you so much for everybody that's joined us. Thank you so much, Kelly. This is beautiful.
Thank you, Tracy. Oh my gosh.
So one thing that I want to leave everyone with is, don't give up. You were born to share something that you are a light that is meant to shine on the world. No matter what your reality looks like, no matter what your mind is telling you, no matter what other people are telling you, protect your desires. Meaning, don't allow people to talk you out of the very thing that your soul is on fire for. Protect them, nurture them by thinking about it, feeling it, setting your intention on it, visualizing it, turning up the dial on those emotions when you feel it. Speak it out loud. Speak it to other people. So protect your desires. The other thing is get intimate with your breath. It is here to serve you in such a powerful way. Take time for yourself, even if it's 30 minutes, to just connect deeply with your breath. When the mind wants to take you somewhere, bring it back with your breath and just put your hands on your heart chakra. Just breathe for 30 seconds. Breathe from your sacral, which is your creation, your abundance, right under your belly button. Intention, breathe from there. Bring it all the way to your heart with your hands on your heart. And just say, I'm in my own presence. I am in my own energy, and it is good. So that you can be in your own light. Because the more that you feel your own light, the more that you will do the work that you are called to do, the more that you will not be in other people's perceptions of you, but that you will be in your presence, in your heart, in your love. And people can find me at tracyneely.com, which is my website, which is on my bio. And if I can support anybody in this community, if you have questions, if there was an aha moment, please feel free to private message me. If you are feeling like you're in a place where you're not even sure what the next step is because there's so much coming at you, feel free to private message me because I know what it's like, but I'm no different than you. And if I can do this, you can do it too.
I could listen to you all night. We could keep going. We can seriously keep going. I mean, Tracy, you're just like such deep and powerful healing.
Thank you.
On this live, like beyond bar. And I will just highly recommend and invite you get into Tracy's world, her vortex, community, whatever you want to call it. Get into this woman's world. And Tracy, I just want to say thank you so much for your energy, for your light,
thank you,
for your love. And you've healed me from this. I'm going to listen to this again. And, you know, anyone watching the replay, you know, it's going to heal so many and bring some ahas, you know, I think.
Yes.
People. So I just want to say thank you for the work that you're doing in the world because it's healing others and then others are going to be healing others. So thank you.
And the last one I want to leave you with is, how can I support you, Kelly?
Oh, I don't know, Tracy. We'll talk about it. I have no idea.
If there's any way that I can support you, thank you so much for just your platform and what you're doing. It's so important. And I just love how you set the example of really showing up powerfully for yourself so that you show up powerfully for your clients. So thank you.
Thank you, my love. I'm doing the work just like you. You know, it feels very uncomfortable at times. And,
yes.
You know, my coach is constantly challenging me, so
and that's beautiful. Beautiful
now, but it's good. You know, it's good. So.
It's good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And Tracy will be in touch for sure.
Much love.
Yeah, much love. Bye, everyone.
Bye.